Magistrate Africa did not mince words when she handed over her pronouncement to Tiffany, saying that Tiffany would not get bail and that she would be behind bars until her trial date, which would probably only begin next year. Now, today I'm going to recap what happened in the final day of Tiffany's bail application. And it was hectic. It was hectic. So the morning started off with Tiffany. She was wearing like a dark hoodie. She had her famous dookie on, and she had Jayden's chain. And I saw her kissing it a few times. I saw her, it looked as though she was praying with it. And the Magistrate Africa came in and she recapped the state's case. She recapped the defense's case. And after that, she had a few words of her own for Tiffany. So mainly, Magistrate Africa agrees with us on social media that the behavior of Tiffany is sus. And Magistrate Africa broke it down. She said that the court accepts as a fact that Jayden was dropped off at the complex. And the usual time that he was dropped off was 3 o'clock, right? And why was the alarm not raised then? Why did Tiffany wait until 7 o'clock to report him missing? In fact, Tiffany was seen at 5:30 by the day shift guard, calmly smoking a cigarette as well as leaving the premises. And also, the magistrate agrees with the state that Jayden didn't have any friends in the complex. There's no reason to suggest that he would not go anywhere else but home. And the magistrate also pointed out the suspicion in Tiffany's behavior about why did she not return to the flat that night. And the magistrate said it was because Tiffany wanted to put distance between herself and the lifeless body that was in her flat. And Tiffany still further came back in the early morning hours of the morning, where she obstructed the ends of justice and she moved the body into the corridor, and she left in a hurry because she didn't want to be there. She wanted to put further distance between her and her son because she knew what happened to Jayden. Magistrate Africa then went on to present a detailed 23-point list where Tiffany's side of events had brought doubt into the court and deflected from the truth. And I'm not going to have time to go through all these points, but I'm going to go through some of which I believe is the most important. So we're going to start off with the clothing. So remember, Tiffany apparently sent Jayden to school in 8-degree weather, winter weather, without a jacket. Well, Magistrate Africa also found that sus because she said that 2 other witnesses, the educator as well as the security guard who saw Jayden return home on the 13th, noted the red jacket. And there's no indication that Tiffany had a spare red jacket, right? So that red jacket is probably the one that went to school with Jayden. And additionally, right, why did Tiffany go out of her way to not report him in the correct clothing that he was seen by 2 other people? And Magistrate Africa picked up on that because she said, I believe the other 2 witnesses. I believe the security guard and I believe the educator, and that he was in fact wearing his red jacket and his red pants to school that day. Additionally, the OB book was set correct today in court. So we know Tiffany says that when Jayden went missing at 5 o'clock, she went and reported him missing to the day shift guard, and she wrote in the OB book. And then at 7 o'clock, when she went to the police station, she put the Lyft Club driver's number as well as her number in the OB book. But when she came back from the hospital the next day and had an argument with them, the pages were missing in the OB book. And apparently the whole OB book was presented in court, and there are no missing entries. There are no signs that it has been reconstructed. There is no evidence of pages missing or of Tiffany writing in and reporting that stuff in the OB book. So Magistrate Africa found incredible doubt in that side of Tiffany's story. Additionally, Magistrate Africa started talking about, remember the pillow, right? So the pillow that was confiscated from Tiffany's flat and put into evidence, Tiffany says that she wasn't there when it was put into evidence, and it could have been taken from another flat, the flat up top where the other sniffer dog allegedly alerted to. And Magistrate Africa said, well, you know what? There is no evidence that the sniffer dog that was filmed, it wasn't even filmed, right? We know, we've all watched the TikTok of Natalie explaining what happened. And she explains it because Tiffany had told her that, right? And Magistrate Africa said there's no evidence that the sniffer dog went and alerted in another flat. And we know there's no evidence. And this thing with the bodily fluids, right? Magistrate Africa put it all together for us because she came up with the explanation for why Tiffany wanted us to believe all these things. Because she made another point about the bloody underwear. And the underwear was not, when it was shown in court, the pictures, it was not bloody. But Tiffany's assertions about male bodily fluids, about strangle marks that were not there, as well as about bloody underwear, made it as though she wanted us to believe that Jayden had been raped when the pathologist said there were no signs of raping. And this is one of the things that Tiffany used to mislead us as the public to focus on an alternative suspect, specifically a male suspect. Magistrate Africa also slammed Tiffany's assertion that the night shift guard saw Jayden on the night of the 13th outside the complex in a vest and shorts. Additionally, Magistrate Africa also slammed when Tiffany strategically left out the part in her affidavit where she returned in the morning from to go and shower, right? Well, the magistrate said, well, you know what, Tiffany, there's no reason. We don't have any evidence that anyone in the SAPS told you that time of death occurred between 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. We know for a fact time of death was not in fact determined. And the reason, right, that you had left this out was because you were trying to mislead the court that you had returned in the morning to move Jayden's lifeless body to further deflect suspicion from yourself. I will be going live tonight at 7 p.m. with all 23 points, which we can discuss together. And remember, the reason that we are here, right, is because of Jayden. Jayden was brutally killed. And we as South Africans are observing our justice system because we want justice for him. We want justice for Jayden-Lee.